Time for You Are What You Eat, and according to a recent study, red wine might antagonize the brain proteins tied to Alzheimer's. Mark Mincolla, Ph.D., a natural health care practitioner from Cohasset, Massachusetts, joins us with more. Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Leslie.
So some mice were drinking some wine.
Those crazy mice. Well, this is really an interesting study, though. I think it was fascinating that it was done at Mount Sinai Medical School. And it's an animal study, as you point out, but it's, I think, promising in that it opens the door for further human studies. Preliminary study, but a good one. And it basically separated 3 groups of mice, and they broke them down into one group that actually had water that was just plain water, another group that had water with Cabernet. They tell us the human equivalent of 1 5-ounce glass per day. The third group had water with ethanol, or alcohol that did not come from wine. And at the end of 7 months, they evaluated them thoroughly through a series of dexterity and maze type studies and found out that through memory and dexterity, those mice that had the Cabernet water functioned significantly better. Now keep in mind, these mice were engineered to produce beta amyloid plaques, which are the protein plaques that we associate with Alzheimer's disease. So they clearly demonstrated that the mice who had the water and the Cabernet seemed to, after 7 months, really engineer their way through quite efficiently.
Really interesting. Why? What's in the Cabernet?
Well, there's some consternation and some confusion about what that might be. There's a lot of earlier studies in these areas, very similar studies, but the general consensus is that there are polyphenols that seem to make the difference here. Well, polyphenols such as epigallocatechin gallate, easy for me to say, EGCG, which is a very powerful antioxidant, common, by the way, in green tea as well, a lot of fruits and vegetables. So red wine isn't the only thing with this stuff in there. But they have found in a number of these different studies, and these researchers suspect as well, that the EGCG may indeed be the polyphenol at work here.
Do you have to have Cabernet?
No, actually they found that in other similar, this study was about Cabernet, but other similar studies found that the really dark red wines, such as the Merlots and some of the Zinfandels, also the Bordeaux, similar EGCG or polyphenol response. So if folks want to find out a little bit more about some of this business, they can actually check out our website at www.maxhealing.com.
And you don't want to go out and drink a bottle of red wine.
Don't want to drink a bottle. Keep in mind, folks, this is the equivalency of 1 5-ounce glass. I think all studies in these areas find that there's a negative response as you go higher.
All right, Mark Mincolla, thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
You too, thanks.
And coming up next Friday, how increasing your intake of a certain type of mineral can help reduce your risk of bladder cancer.